Hi, I'm Andrea. Welcome to this 30-minute yoga practice. Glad to have you here with me. So you can see I'm standing on a yoga mat, but if you don't have one, don't worry. A carpeted area that's not too slippery is going to be a perfect place. I have a couple of blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, that's fine too. Maybe a couple of sturdy books. And a folded blanket, which could just be the throw blanket from your couch, or a good juicy bath towel is a good thing to have as well. I also love to have my chair nearby. That is optional, but might be nice. So those are our tricks of the trade for the twists and turns that we are about to embark upon together. But we will begin standing with your feet hip distance facing me. So if you are using a yoga mat, the short edge of your mat facing me is going to be the easiest way for you to see me throughout, I think. I may move myself and my mat around so that you can better see me, but you don't have to move yourself. Standing in Tadasana, which is mountain pose with your feet hip distance. Turn your palms away from each other. Let that lift your heart. Lean your head back so we find our perfect posture of ears over shoulders, over hips, over heels. There's a little soft bend in your knees. You're gazing at what we like to call your bright horizon. And you could decide to close your eyes as we find our breath here. And it's not that you haven't been breathing all the while. We just bring a different kind of awareness to our breath. See if you can breathe just through your nose. And the thought is that you will do that from now until the end of our practice. And let this be a place to stop and notice before we move on. We'll add a little bit of movement to our breathing. Inhale, arms out to the side, a V shape overhead, and then exhale, float your arms alongside you. A few more like that. Inhale, arms out and up, V shape. Exhale, float your arms along your side. Again, inhale, thumbs are to the sky, so no scrunching of shoulders into ears, and then exhale, float your arms alongside you. One more time. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, float your arms. We'll keep moving, but add on. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and take your hands to your thighs. As you inhale, press into your thighs a bit and lengthen the crown of your head to grow taller. Then exhale, increase the crease at your hips a bit. Inhale, arms in that V shape overhead. And then exhale and float your arms along your side. Again, like that, a half sun salutation. Inhale, arms out and up, a V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips and take your hands to your thighs. Inhale, heart extends forward. Exhale, a little bit more crease at the hip, and then inhale, arms out and up, a V shape. Float your arms along your side. One more time. Inhale, arms swoop up in a V. Exhale, hinge at your hips and fold. Bring your hands to your thighs as traction to inhale and grow taller. Exhale, little hip hinge, but we never lower our head lower than our hips. And then inhale, arms out and up, a V shape. Float your arms alongside your body. Great. Now, arms out in front of you, interlace your hands and bend your elbows like you're holding a beach ball right here in front of you. Step your feet a little bit wider than hip distance and add more bend to your knees. Take your heart with your hands. So just bring your elbows into even more of a bend and stand. Extend your arms into the big beach ball and then turn onto your left toes as you turn to the right. Come back to center. You can straighten the legs a little bit and bring your interlaced hands into your heart, like you're scooping up all the love. Bend your knees again, a beach ball. And now turn to your left and spin onto your right toes a bit. And then come back to center, straighten your legs, and just scoop in all the love. Bend your knees again, beach ball over to the right. Come back to center, scoop the love up into your heart and straighten your legs, and then bend your knees with your beach ball. Swoop it over to the left. We'll do that a couple more times. To center, scoop in the love. The twists and turns continue to the right. You're on the ball of your left foot, and then back to center, and we scoop in. Legs straight and bend your knees, and then twist and turn over to your left. Come back to center, straightening the legs, and then beach ball and over to the right, little bend in that left knee, back to center, swooping in the love, and then bend your knees, beach ball, swoop it over to the left. Great, back to center, stand in the middle, float your arms alongside you, twists and turns just like in life. We need to sort of swoop in the love as the twists and turns happen on our mat and in our life. Now heel toes so that you become hip distance once again in your mountain pose. And feel the love even as you stand in mountain. This is where you may decide to use your chair, or it could be that you decide to assemble your two blocks. So I will show you the setup for both. If you're using blocks, turn your blocks their tallest and situate them on the outer edge of your mat so that they're not in your way in the center. If you're using the base of your chair, just have it within reach, and I will show you how to use either one as we go. Your mountain is situated now in front of your chair and or in between your two blocks. Inhale, arms out and up, a V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, take your hands to your thighs. Inhale and grow tall through your spine, and keep this tall through the spine. Place your hands either on the base of your chair or take your hands to the tall blocks, but we're not letting our head drop lower than our hips. Yeah? Step your left foot back and be in a lunge here. And think that this lunge would like to borrow from when we lengthened our spine with our hands on our thighs, even though now your hands are either on your tall blocks or on the base of your chair. Keep breathing. Think of swinging your right hip back behind you and your left hip a little bit forward. Power up your back leg so you feel your left thigh bone pressing as if it could into your hamstring a little bit. Low belly lifts to support the long spine. And then just 2 more moments here. Now, this next part we want to be particularly careful not to round our spine and not to lower our head any lower than our hips. Begin the project of straightening that front leg. Go slow. It's probably not going to straighten all the way. It's fine. Press into your right big toe mound and let it be that you still feel like when we have our hands on our thighs in our sun salutation, length through your spine. So you're somehow growing tall even though it's sort of a forward fold-ish happening. Your hands can still be on the base of your chair. We're getting tall. There's an elegance to our fold. You breathe just 2 more moments here. And then for our exit, bend your right knee, lift through your belly, step your left foot hip distance from your right, take your hands to your thighs. This is what I was mentioning as the grow tall barometer for us. Exhale, hinge at your hips a little bit more, and then inhale, V shape, arms overhead, stand into your mountain. Second side. Inhale, arms out and up, a V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips and take your hands onto your thighs. Inhale, your heart extends. Keep this length for the whole thing if we can. Hands to the base of your chair or hands onto your blocks. Now it's going to be your right foot that steps back, and voila, the elegance of our lunge on side 2. Now think of lengthening through your spine like we did a moment ago with our hands on our thighs, even though it's a new shape. In a way, this is a twist and a turn, even though we're not literally twisting and turning. but we're taking something we found in a different shape and turning it into something that we discover in our lunge. Left hip back and right hip forward, length through your spine, whether your hands are on your blocks or on the base of your chair. And then fill the shape with breath. Try to keep the breath, if you can, through your nose. Long and rich and deep. And then just 2 more moments here, power up your back leg. Now, especially as we think kind of sort of forward fold, we're not dropping our head lower than our hips. So begin to straighten your front leg and press into your left big toe mound and keep the length of your spine and the elegance. And then there's going to be a little sensation in the back of that left leg, isn't there? We want to be careful we're not swinging the hip out. So keep that left hip back and right hip forward and breathe. Breathe into all the feels. That's the yoga. And you want to find where it's interesting, but it doesn't feel like it's too much. A middle ground, or as I like to say, where the porridge is just right. 2 more moments. And then just start to bend your left knee. This is our exit where you're going to lift in the low belly, right foot hip distance from left. Hands onto your thighs. Inhale, find that super long spine, and then exhale, hinge at your hips. V shape as we inhale, arms overhead, thumbs to the sky. And then settle into your mountain. Great, adding on. Inhale, arms out and up, a V shape. Hinge at your hips and take your hands to your thighs. Inhale, your heart forward. Use this length with your hands on the base of your chair or your hands to your tall blocks, and step your left foot back into the lunge that we rehearsed just a moment ago. Now remember our deal of a long, elegant spine, the right hip swinging back, no head collapsed lower than the hips. And we want to make sure that there's not a rounding of our back as we add left hand on your block, thumb to the sky, rotate open, right arm to the sky. That can be happening with your left hand on the base of your chair too. So give yourself the prop that makes the porridge just right. And now breathe into these twists and turns, just like we'll do off our mat in our life when the inevitable twists and turns happen. 2 moments here. Now unwind, right hand onto your block. This is where we straighten the front leg, remember? So we'll start to straighten that front leg. Now you have a couple of options. You can stay on the ball of the back foot. You could even turn that back foot flat if it makes you feel more stable. I just don't want you to swing that hip out if you can help it. So you get to decide. It's kind of exciting when you get to decide your own things in these practices. Keep the length through your spine, and we'll add the twist here. So left hand stays on your block or on the base of your chair, and right thumb to the sky as we twist it open with the front leg a little straighter. And it doesn't need to be all the way straight at all. Keep breathing, just a couple rounds here. And then unwind and bend your front knee. Strong through your belly. Left foot hip distance from right, hands to thighs. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, increase the hinge at the hips, and then inhale, arms out and up. V shape overhead. Stand into your mountain. Second side, inhale, V shape. Exhale, hip hinge and hands to thighs. Inhale your heart forward. Keep the length, hands to the base of your chair or to your blocks. Step your right foot back. Voila, the lunge. The lunge with all the length in your spine. You're breathing through your nose, and it's the right hand that stays down, left thumb to the sky. Add the twist with the bend in your knee. You want to keep swinging that left hip back and that right hip forward as we breathe here. Just a couple moments. Unwind. So left hand onto block. Straighten the front leg slowly. Remember our deal of your head staying higher than your hips. You can, if you'd prefer, turn the back foot on its side. I just don't want that to swing your hip out to the side. So you decide the side. And then right hand on your block, left hip keeps swinging back, thumb to the sky. We turn gently, gently being key. A couple of moments here. You guys breathing? Important, that is the non-negotiable. Unwind, left hand onto your block, bend your front knee, step your right foot hip distance from your left, hands to your thighs, inhale, and then exhale, hinge at your hips. V shape, inhale, stand it up, and then mountain pose. Great, inhale, arms out and up. A little bit different this time. Exhale, hinge at your hips and take your hands to your thighs. Inhale, your heart forward, hands to the base of your chair or hands onto your blocks. This is where you might incorporate your folded blanket. So step your left foot back, and this time lower your back knee. Now if that's a lot for your back knee, take a moment to grab your towel, put it underneath your knee so that it doesn't feel like it's too much. And you can also keep your left toes, your back toes curled under. Arms out to the side, a V shape overhead here in our low lunge. Now keep the low belly lifting. Cactus your arms out to the side and then turn to your right. So we're turning, twisting and turning to our right, cactusing the arms, which is where you might stay. Some of you, prayer in front of your heart. So if that feels good in your body and you're not scrunching shoulders into ears, terrific. Very few of us perhaps tip a little forward and take that left elbow to the outside of the right thigh for some leverage. Now that doesn't mean that you're forcing anything. I'm not turning you into a corkscrew. I just want you to think about playing with a tiny bit of a loving nudge into your twist. And you still have the love from our first twist, whether you have an elbow on the outside of your thigh or you have something more like this upright. 2 more moments here. And then carefully unwind, take your hands onto your blocks or the base of your chair. This sometimes takes a little negotiating, so straighten your front leg and curl your toes back towards you. Great. Hands on blocks makes this a little bit more sturdy perhaps, or hands on the base of your chair. Could be that the chair needs to come a little closer if that's what you're using. Perfect. Now this actually is trickier when we come upright, so just see if you can find some balance, thumbs to the sky, cactus your arms, and turn to your right. I think in some ways this is the more challenging way of doing things. So you can stay with this, or extend the arms, thumbs to the sky, and take your left hand onto your block, keep the right thumb to the sky and twist, sort of like we did in our pyramid twist variation earlier. Just 2 moments here. Unwind, right hand onto your block, a different transition. So bend your front knee, put your right knee on your mat, step your left foot forward. Remember, if you want some padding, great, get it. You can curl those back toes under, and then a V shape overhead here in our low lunge. Low belly lifting, cactus your arms, turn to your left. And it won't go that far, that's fine. We're using muscles to create a twist. You can stay here if this is your best bet. You can take a prayer in front of your heart and stay upright if that makes you happiest. Some of us will lean a little bit forward and hook the right elbow on the outside of the left thigh now. Don't need to have the hook. You can be upright, no problem. Every inhale, grow tall like when our hands are on our thighs. And every exhale, just a sweet little loving nudge into the twist. 2 more moments, wherever you are. Firm through your belly as you unwind. Take your hands onto your blocks or onto the base of your chair. Get a little taller in the saddle. Straighten your front leg. Curl the toes back so you feel left hip back and right hip forward. That becomes a pretty important anchor for when we come upright now. So come upright, thumbs to the sky, arms out to the side. Cactus your arms and turn to your left. And like I said, this is for me the most precarious. This is the trickiest of all. And you can stay like this, or arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky, and you'll take your right hand onto your block. Left thumb stays to the sky. Left hip keeps drawing back. You're sure that it's not bothering your bottom knee. 2 moments. Great. Unwind slowly, take your left hand to your block, and then swoop to hands and knees. So you can move your chair out of the way. I'm going to move my chair so you can see me. You can move your blocks out of the way, although we might want them in a moment. And maybe you're kneeling on your blanket. That would be a great idea. Once we're here, right arm up to the sky, and then just add a little bend to your left elbow, and you can put the back of your right arm onto the ground. Some of you might lower to the right side of your head, but if that feels like it's a little too much of a twist or it's bothering your neck, just stay upright a little bit. We're not here long. And then we'll slowly come through center, left arm up to the sky, swoop underneath you, bend your right elbow, and then just place the back of your left hand onto your mat. So we've got a little bit of a twisting action here for a moment. If it makes sense to lie your head down, you can lie your head down here. 2 more moments. Now unswoop, come down the middle. I would say that for most of us, one of our blocks or books and then our folded blanket or towel are going to be a very good thought for our next couple of poses. So I like to fold mine into a pretty bona fide bench. Then sit down on your bench and take your legs straight out in front of you. Find that glorious long spine that we found when we were doing our lunges. Bend your right knee, put your right foot into your left inner thigh. Maybe one of your blocks underneath that right thigh feels good. Thumbs to the sky, a V shape. Now think of all the twists and turns we've been through. Turn to face your left leg, so that straight leg. And then you can place your fingertips on the ground. We're keeping our long spine. We're not rounding and collapsing. But there's a feeling of right ribs towards your left thigh. You might walk a little bit forward, but mostly appreciate that there's a teeny twist. There's a hip stretch with your right leg and a hamstring stretch in your left leg. And the perfect opportunity to meditate. To meditate even though there are little twists and turns in our experience. You're welcome to close your eyes. Just see if maybe the habit of rounding your spine has snuck in. I know it happens to me all the time. Let every inhale grow you tall. And every exhale just be that tiny little right ribs towards left inner thigh twist. 30 seconds of me being quiet. Slowly walk yourself upright. Maybe that's pretty much where it took place. That's fine. Take your right hand on your thigh. Extend that right leg out. Maybe a little waggle is nice. We'll change sides. So left foot into right inner thigh. Maybe block underneath that left thigh bone so your knee is happy and safe. Curl your right toes back towards you. V shape overhead. Turn, turn, turn towards your right straight leg. So it's like left ribs now into right inner thigh, and then just place your fingertips down, hinge at the hips so we're not rounding, and it doesn't have to walk very far, I bet, for you to feel quite a bit. And then we get to meditate here on this side. We're meditating amidst the twists and turns, left ribs towards right inner thigh. Just like we'll be meditating off our mat in the twists and turns of life. And when I say meditating, I just mean paying close attention, being where we actually are right now, not drifting off into thoughts that take us into the fantasy of what's going to be happening next, which might never happen, or back into something that's already happened as if we could change it, but right here where we're most effective and alive. 1 full minute of me being quiet and you meditating here. That was great. That was a full minute. Now firm through your feet and your belly and come all the way up. Extend your left leg out in front of you. Give a little bit of a waggle. And then we'll come off of our perch and lie down on your back. I'm going to actually move my mat a little bit to the side so that you can see me a bit better. Once you lie down without anything in your way, we'll take a bit of a twist here. So step your feet as wide as your mat. And then like a set of windshield wipers, let your knees drop over to the right. If it feels good to you, you can pick up your right foot and gently place it onto your left thigh. For some of us, that's going to take things a little too far. So just the scissor windshield wiper original situation might feel better. And then come back to center and let your knees windshield wiper over to the left. That's plenty. If you're a fan of lifting your left foot, crossing that ankle on top of your right thigh, that's what you'll do. Just a couple moments here. And then come back down the middle. Keep your feet as wide as your mat. Drop your knees to touch, a little bit of a knock knee feel. Bring your arms alongside you and shimmy your shoulder blades underneath you. Very carefully lift your hips up just an inch so you get more space in your low back and lower your hips to your mat. You can stay just like this for our Shavasana final meditation, or extend one leg and then the other. Feet flop open, maybe close your eyes. You could even cover your eyes. Final Shavasana meditation, our rest and digest for the practice. always welcome to stay in your final Shavasana meditation as long as you'd like. If you're ready, start to move your fingers and toes gently. Bend your knees and place your feet on your mat if they're not there already. One final little turn, so roll to either side. Use your hands so your head can be the last thing to come up. Sit any way that's comfortable to you with your palms up or down. And as you wander off your mat and into the day, let all of this grace that you found in the twists and turns on your mat come with you off your mat too. Weave them into your life. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I'm Andrea, and I look forward to us doing it again soon.